Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Stupid for the 8th of August 2021. I got a little bit of a complaint here on my table saying that I cover way too much American news. So with that said, let's start with some Indonesian news. You like that, don't you, bitch? You want me to show you some Indonesian news. Alright, here you go.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh no, don't eat it. Oh no. Oh, they're broken. Oh my god. She's putting on. Lie down? Oh yeah, try it up. Yes. Oh yeah. This is fantastic stuff. Oh my god, did you get it?
Yeah.
They're working. They're working.
Oh my god.
This is gold. Oh no.
You know what? That was so wholesome, wasn't it? That was actually beautiful. Reminds me of a time when the internet was young. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should read the news from other countries more. You know, let's look at the border. What happens in Bulgaria? Let's see what's on their front page news. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. God, no. No. Yeah, I'm not touching that with a 20-foot pole. Let's cover something else. Alright, I don't want to get depressed today. I want good news. I want interesting stuff. Oh, here's one. Apparently in the United Kingdom, race row at the Vegan Society. 5 trustees quit amid racismus and transphobismus after a member claimed that veganism is cultural appropriation. Okay, listen here, you bigot. You may not know, but if you're eating the sparangel, you're being a racist fuck. Look, it was founded by white British men. Can you imagine that? I mean, already the horrors have been said it. It's got the roots of white British men. Like, do you need any more explanation than that? Because if you do, there is even more. Like, if that wasn't damning enough, it uses foods and traditions from Africa and Asia. And you know what they say, right? Sharing is caring. But when it comes to culture, it is their culture. They greedily hoard it out. And it was the white men that penetrated and colonialized and then brought it over here. And if you do that, then the sin of your forefathers is going to get into you and make you a sinful, disgusting person. So you need to say no, cultural appropriation. No! And you need to eat the pork. You need to eat the salami. Only by eating the salami can you say no to this heathenistic cultural appropriation. And only then can the continents of Africa and Asia be saved. You need to preach, brother. Preach my message to other people. Warn them now. Warn them while they can still be saved. You need to go out on the street and do this rant. And by doing this rant, you will help society be better. Everyone will look at you and they will say, wow, what an intelligent human being. This is the guy we need on CNN. This is the guy we need to give a blue check mark on Twitter. All of a sudden, your entire life is going to be uplifted. And all you have to do is to listen to the message that I just given it to you here. All right? The more logical and the more persuasive you act, the more the people around you are going to appreciate you. If you are to just say like a normal person, like, what is this filth? And you're just going to flip the page, you won't make it into the news. The mainstream media won't want to talk to you. And Jack Dorsey isn't going to give you a check mark. I say, like, if you can't beat them, join them. Now, according to this article, it happened when 5 esteemed people, 5, left the society. And apparently, someone, of course, there is always someone, which says that the reason that this rumor was started isn't because the person was a noble, prestigious social justice activist trying to warn people about cultural appropriation. But instead it's because the complaints were levied at the 25-year-old Zuri, which were unfounded and appeared motivated by an anonymous person's profound personal animosity. Can you imagine that? Like, who thinks like that? Who believes that a personal animosity against a person could get a noble social justice activist to become corrupt and then label such a serious accusation such as cultural appropriation? There is nothing worse in this world than cultural appropriation. And by the way, speaking of veganism, do you know who else was a vegan? Hitler was a vegan. Anyway, I got a little bit fired up doing all of that preaching, so I should calm down and relax a little bit, because it's not good for my blood pressure. I'm not as young as I used to be when I started this channel. So, which is the best way that I can do to calm down? Oh, I know. I'm going to read some comic books. But what comic? What comic should I read? You know what? I'll go on Amazon and look for the top 30 best sold comics in the United States, and surely I will find something there. Oh my god, would you look at that? The complete Calvin and Hobbes collection is getting up for $70. Wow, I wish I would have bought that earlier. I didn't expect the prices are going to go this high. Damn, I don't have that much money. Especially not with the wedding coming on, so I guess I'll have to give up on comic books. I'll have to find other avenues of entertainment. Oh, I know. What about Hollywood? Hollywood offers great entertainment. Not the movies, mind you. The movies suck. The movies are awful. But the drama surrounding the actors has never been any better. Now, I already made a video on this channel talking about the issue surrounding Matt Damon, and usually I try to avoid putting that I spoke on my channel in This Week in Stupid, but there have been some developments. So, to catch you up to speed, Matt Damon wanted to show that he is a virtuous person. And what can a poor Hollywood actor do, right? Like, he's not going to donate to the poor. He's not going to adopt some hungry children. No. Like what you do in 2021 when you want to show that you're a virtuous person, you need to virtue signal. You need to give a story that's going to get all the other people from Hollywood to stand up and clap. And he did. You know, he gave this very touching story about how he was at the dinner with his family and he dropped the gamer word. And because of that, his little daughter just couldn't stand being such a raging bigot, and she got up from the table and walked away. And then she wrote a very moving essay explaining to her father why what he did was wrong. Right? So that is the virtue. I mean, Matt Damon is an open-minded person, which learns a lot of humiliating lessons from his children. And he managed to improve as a person. Like, since that day, he doesn't use slurs anymore. But the wise man on Twitter, the creme de la creme of society, the individuals that keep our society intact and pure, went, hold on a second. So you're saying that Matt Damon used homophobic slurs in his own house? Like, what does he think? Like, does he think we live in a fascist regime where people have privacy and they can say stuff off the cuff? No. If you use the word, it's like a spell, like an incantation. You create harm to society. Like, people actually suffered. You know, when you look at a picture of Dante's Inferno and you hear those people screaming in the lava, it's because of Matt Damon said the word. Like, you don't understand. Words are like bullets. Like, nothing is worse in human history than verbal communication. And Matt Damon admitted, he confessed that he used the word, he used the gamer word, right? So now they're trying to get him fired. I swear to God, like, the way things are going, I'm hoping, especially right now that you have private companies that can do whatever they want, maybe we can have Skynet as a private company that can do whatever it wants. And maybe Skynet can send Terminators back in time in order to prevent people from creating slurs. Like, can you understand the power of that? You can literally erase words from existence. Like you would live in such an amazing and awesome society where people would just not know that the slurs exist because Terminators would be sent back in time in order to take care of the problem. But I think in order to get there, we just need to become a little bit more progressive. And whenever I want to become more progressive, I look into the world and see which is the most progressive nation. And so far, that has to be Sweden. I mean, look at this beautiful ad that they have promoting their military. I mean, that is a flag worth dying for. You know, like who needs a country flag? A country which represents the place you grew up in, the place where your family lives. That is a little bit outdated. Like right now, a country is just a space where economic transaction happens. So we need different concepts. We need different things that are worthy dying for. And most importantly, we don't need our memes to stay dreams. Do you know that meme with the people in the Middle East and the Americans are dropping bombs on them from drones and the drones are covered with the rainbow flag and they have like VLM and various like progressive logos? Well, Sweden is now on the right path. They're definitely doing that. Can you imagine like a Middle Eastern village and it's all destroyed and you have like the little girl, you know, trying to go there to find out what happened? Like, who did this? Who did this to mama? Who did this to papa? And they find, like, under the wreckage, the burn, like, a partly burned rainbow flag. And the girl looks with horror, and she's like, curse you, Sweden. Man, that would be some great movie material. Why don't they make funny movies like that anymore, huh? Like, South Park could get on top of that. But yeah, I mean, it is awesome. What can I say? Like, I definitely love it, and I hope we're going to see more of it. But even then, like, I have to wonder how progressive warfare would be like, because we already know words are more damaging than bullets, right? Because, like, words cause systemic systems. Weapons don't cause systemic systems. The systemic systems are deadly, as we understand. So, in the future, like, wars will be fought with soldiers hurling slurs at each other in trenches. So I know that part. But what I'm curious, like, what do you do when a soldier ends up being a bigot? Like, how do you deal with friendly fire or whatnot? It's like, hey, did you know what the soldier Slutlud has said? It's like, no, what did he say? Well, he pointed at Carlos Maza and he said, no, right? And then they will have to cancel him, right? They will have to cancel the soldier. I guess they will strip him of his uniform and send him back home. It's like you can't. We don't wage war with bigots. All right, you need to go back home and think about what you did. Right? Like cancel culture. And then you have the soldier, you know, going on the battlefield, like sending an apology to everyone. It's like, I'm so sorry for blah blah blah, and everyone gets to boo at him, and then he goes back home just being a civilian. Yeah, I mean, that's the future of progressive warfare, I guess. I'll probably be the MVP in that engagement. And do you know why? Because I am progressive. Do you know how progressive I am? I'm so progressive that I'm going to circle back right now. I'm going to circle back so hard right now, and we're going to go to Matt Damon again, because I just remembered something important. So while I do think that Matt Damon should definitely be canceled, what he did is completely unacceptable, beyond the pale. His daughter needs to be promoted and uplifted as an example for the rest of the children, because it is up to children to educate the adults. Can you imagine a world where the adults educate the children? Like, what nonsense would that be? No, like, in a progressive society, things go really fast, and the children are the ones that catch up with the new, and then they have the duty to educate the adults. And I generally believe that this is a good thing until I saw the story of Dianne Feinstein. Now, usually, when children go to lecture an adult, the adult tries to avoid the children or tries to be silent about it. But Dianne did the unthinkable. She stood her ground and, even worse, engaged the children into an ideological debate. Like, what type of person does that? Who does that? Who actually challenges children? What type of well, Dianne Feinstein does it. So let's watch her, one woman versus many, many children.
We're asking for the new Green Deal, and we're trying to present this letter that we've made to Senator Feinstein. We are trying to ask you to vote yes on the Green New Deal. Please.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We have our own Green New Deal piece of legislation.
Well, we're trying
Okay.
to promote the Green New Deal,
Well, there are reasons why I can't, because there's no way to pay for it.
Yes, there is.
That's
We
the
have
big
tons of
reason.
money going to the military. A lot of ours is going to the military.
But we have come to a point where our Earth is dying, literally.
The world is in peril. Gaia, the spirit of the earth, can no longer stand the terrible destruction plaguing our planet.
And it is going to be a pricey and ambitious plan that is needed to deal with the magnitude of that issue. And so we're here asking you to vote yes on the resolution for the Green New Deal, because that is the only
That
plan that is
resolution
worth.
will not pass the Senate, and you can take that back to whoever sent you here.
Some scientists have said that we have 12 years to turn this around.
Well, it's not
The
going to get
government's
turned
supposed-
around in
the-
10 years.
the
What we
government's
can do
Senator, if
is
this
put
doesn't get turned
ourselves-
around in 10 years, you're looking at the faces of the people who are going to be living with these
Guess what?
consequences.
The government is supposed to be for the people and by the people and all
You know
for the
what's
people.
interesting about this group is I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway. I don't respond to that. I've gotten elected. I just ran. I was elected by almost 1 million vote plurality. And I know what I'm doing. So, maybe people should listen a little bit.
The group argued, "We are the people who voted you. You, Feinstein, are supposed to listen to us. That is your job." And here the evil lady issued a rebuttal saying that they actually didn't vote for her since they are under 18 years old. But what if they're not lying, eh? Oh shit, I'll shut up before YouTube decides to look at its TOS algorithm and go like, V, you are crossing on dangerous territories. This is borderline content. It's a joke, YouTube. It's a joke. Of course they didn't vote. They're not dead.
I hear what you're saying, but we're the people who voted you. You're supposed to listen to us. That's your
How old are
your
you?
job.
How old
I'm
are you?
16. I
Well,
can't
you didn't vote for me.
Well,
I'm 24.
It doesn't
I
matter.
did.
We're the ones
Well,
who's going to be
words mean
impacted.
something.
It doesn't matter. We're going to be the ones who are impacted.
I understand that. I have 7 grandchildren. I understand it very well.
Senator, the cost of
And-
not taking this action is far higher than the cost of what the Green New Deal will be. And there
Here's
is
what-
enormous popularity for this bill around the
Okay.
whole country.
Here's
And we're
what
asking you to
we
be
are
brave and
proposing.
do this for us and for your grandchildren.
Here's what I do propose. And here is the resolution that I think has a chance to pass. So we'll give each of you a copy. You can take a look at it. And I'm trying to do the best I can, which was to write a responsible resolution.
Any plan that doesn't
has-
take bold,
Okay.
transformative action is not going to be what we need.
Well, you know better than I do. So I think one day you should run for the Senate.
Great.
And then you do it your way.
But by that
But in the
time,
meantime,
by that time, there's
I
going to be a
just,
big problem.
I just
have a
won a
letter
big
for you.
election. We will give you a resolution that's thoughtfully worked out, that has a chance of passing, and which does what you want.
Now that was a horrible display. You see, back in my day, we had the champion of light and justice, Greta Thunberg, and no one was allowed to actually engage her in a conversation. Like, no one was allowed to disagree with her. And that was a more civilized time. How can you do politics if the children that you send to carry your message are going to actually be engaged by politicians? What nonsense is that? See, that got me upset yet again. So now I need to go back to some entertainment. But what else is there, right? Comic books, I can't afford them. We talked about Hollywood. What else is there that's entertaining? Oh, I know, the Olympics. Now, the Olympics are very entertaining. And as Hollywood, they're not entertaining because of the actual sports, because no one watches the sports. They're entertaining because of the politics surrounding the sports, right? Like, without the sports, you wouldn't have all those random nobodies lecturing you about politics. So they're a useful vector. In other words, the sports are so important nowadays that I definitely think they should be taught into universities to political schools. Like, you can't even engage in basic politics. You know what? You shouldn't even go to vote if you don't know sports. That's how political sports should be. That's how important they are. And various nations have covered the event differently. One of the most progressive nations out there is the United Kingdom. And I gotta say, I love the way BBC Sports covered the Olympics. I mean, BBC Sports is the most progressive institution right now because they have decided that the enemy is the British people. Not all of them, some of them. There is an overlap between the enemy and the British people, okay? And it's up to BBC Sports to weed them out. And if they find out that someone is doing harm online, they will contact the authorities. Like, they want people imprisoned for using the internet inappropriately. Now, that is progressive as fuck. I love me some progressivism. So, BBC Sports, we want our platforms to be a respectful place for discussion, constructive criticism, debate, and opinion. But all of this under the umbrella of censorship, of course. Because we know the vast majority of our followers want that too, even though they never did a poll or a survey or anything like that. When you're a progressive individual, you transcend humanity and you become like Charles Xavier and you just read what is in people's minds. So here is their stance, okay? Like, this is their ultimatum. We will block people bringing hate to our comment section. So you can bring avarice, you can bring jealousy, you can bring envy, but you can't bring hate, all right? Like, if only we had the technology to lobotomize people, like with a needle in the brain, and just go to the hate receptor. You know, maybe in the future we will have that technology, and I want the people at the BBC Sports to be the ones doing it. Like, to have the people lining up, and the people at the BBC Sports, they'll just push the needle very slowly, and then they will be like, next. We will report the most serious cases to the relevant authorities. This is what progressivism is, okay? Like, this is exactly what it is. It's authority, like a fist that comes cracking down onto the hateful bigots. It's unity, it's strength, it's the strength of the collective, just smacking against the hateful bigot, just like a fly swatter hits a fly. This is the future. This is progressiveness. We will work to make our accounts kind and respectful places. See, it's not the community that works. It's not grassroots. No, because the people are dumb. It's like in the medieval ages, we called the people the unwashed masses, right? Because they're stupid, they're stinky, they're unwashed. But the holy BBC, through their kindness, through their grace, through their compassion, they're the ones that will keep the accounts kind and respectful. So you should suck their cock. That what BBC means. It's like the BBC, right? You need to suck their cock because they do all of this for you. So at least learn how to be respectful. We will keep growing our coverage of all sports and keep covering issues and discussions around equality in sports. So I just want you to compare what a progressive and uplifting country does. Well, look at that. You know, you don't get censors, but you get the YouTube copyright algorithm kicking in. And I tried absolutely everything. I tried shortening the video. I tried removing the sound. So I guess what we're going to do is like, I'm just going to describe to you the video and you guys will use the power of the imagination. The video shows the people giving the medals to the athletes who won the competition. And the German commentators, they say, and I quote, "Back in the day, the medal was put around the neck. Now you need to get it yourself. It's like that during these COVID times. There's only one disease around the world, COVID. Everything else is extinct. It doesn't exist anymore. AIDS is extinct, the flu is extinct. Cancer of any kind also no longer exists, there is only COVID." And the other commentator says, there's like 130 million global deaths from hunger caused by the government measures due to COVID. And the other commentator says, that's right, not a good track record. To be honest, I blame the lack of censorship, but I also blame the organizers. And if I was there, you know what I would have done? I would have thrown the medals at them. Like, use a slingshot like David used against Goliath or something. It would be so hilarious that no one would even have the opportunity to wrong think. Like, everyone would be laughing, you know? It's like, here's a medal, you sick fuck. Anyway, right, so let's look at how other countries covered the Olympics. Now, we got South Korea and we got Russia. Russia is highly problematic, especially when the transgender athletes came. So I'm going to leave that towards the end. Trigger warning, right? I'm giving you time to prepare. I'm giving you time to leave the room or to stop watching if you're a sensitive person. Because I'm telling you, like, what the Russians did is beyond the pale. The BBC would have blocked Russia if they had the ability. But maybe one day they will. Now, South Korea, right? So the South Korean TV network is pissing their eyes. They're crying as they're apologizing over the inappropriate opening ceremony images. And I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, this is spicy. Like, what did they do? So apparently the broadcaster used images of pizza to describe Italy, an upheaval for Haiti, Chernobyl for Ukraine, and Chernobyl for Ukraine and salmon for Norway when athletes from those countries entered the stadium for the opening ceremony. Okay, so look, this is complicated, right? This is why you need to read The Guardian in order to avoid getting fired. You need to watch CNN, you need to read you need to be a progressive. You need to watch this show, actually. Look, if, like, you saw the previous vegans, all right? Like, if you partake into the cuisine of a specific nation, that's cultural appropriation and you get fired, all right? So you're not allowed to cook or eat their stuff. Okay. But at the same time, you're not allowed to identify another nation based on their cuisine, because that's also racist, right? So you're not allowed to take their food, and you're not allowed to compare them with the food. Like, you just, okay, everything about food is sacred. Like, nothing is more sacred. Like, when your mother went and slaved over the hot oven, she made the food. That was your culture. Like, that right there, that was it. Like, when your mother pulled the food out of the oven, that represented you. That was your people, your soul. Imagine if someone came and stole that. It's horrible. But then imagine if someone thought that that is you and represent. You can't. Right? Look, it doesn't need to make sense. Just trust me on this one. Now, let's go over to Russia. And apparently, one of the commentators sparked anti-LGBT slurs on Russian TV. So, according to BBC, the British gold medal winner, who is gay and transgender woman weightlifter from New Zealand, were particularly targeted by the hateful Russian commentators. On one of the panelists, Alexei Zurkalivov, who is also a member of the Russian parliament, said he was disgusted by the gay and transgender people. And he even issued a political statement saying, we stand opposed to all of this smut and perversion. See, this is why Russia needs BBC Sports. We need to somehow, or you know what we'll do? We're going to get the Swedish military to bring BBC Sports into Russia. See? Every time there's a problem, I come up with a solution. Every single time. But people never come asking me for solutions. I don't know why. But I'm very smart. I have solutions. So, for example, right? The YouTube algorithm, they don't like my show. They don't promote it to other people as much as I would like. So if you guys could help me out and spread This Week is Stupid over your social media, just put it out there on Facebook. Just put it out there on Twitter. Just tweet it out. You don't even need to say anything. Just put it boop. And people will love it. Trust me. Like, they will appreciate you. Because it's a funny segment. And it's great. And for the rest of you, I'll be live streaming right after this. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed This Week is Stupid. And I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.